Welcome, everyone, to another PMI Shorts episode. Today, I'm really excited. Jan and I are joined by Audrey Coaxum. For any of you that have been around PMI for any length of time, you'll recognize the face and recognize the name. Audrey's been a part of, has taught our curriculum, has created our curriculum, has been a part. I don't know. I would run out of fingers if I listed all the stuff that you've done over the years. When I see you, I think about national conference and how bad I want to have one of those again. So today we're going to be introducing a new topic, a new coursework for us. It is our patient services representative certificate class. Have to be careful and not say certification, our certificate course. And Jan and Audrey, you guys have both been a part of this and helped with the material. So you're going to have to help me with the story. I know that PSR was originally developed, I believe, for the health system down in South Texas.
Yes.
And then it was kind of re-engineered for the community college system up in Maine. Is that right?
That is correct.
That's correct.
So and I'm just going to call it Patient Services Representative, PSR. It's almost like I'm writing a paper. I've written it down once. Now I can say PSR. The PSR coursework is broken down into two sections, PSR 1, PSR 2. No rocket science there. The first section of this coursework is designed for someone new to healthcare, very green in healthcare. PSR 2 takes all of that knowledge and really takes it to the next level. Jan, you had a great phrase for that. Step in and step up.
So when I think of the PSR program, I think of somebody who is stepping into an office, a healthcare system. Maybe this is their first position. So the PSR curriculum gives that person all the basic knowledge they need. So on day one, they are ready to start learning about the healthcare system policies and workflows. They don't need that background. And then once you get into PSR 2, it gives you the opportunity to step up. So you're stepping in and then stepping up. You're doing a little bit deeper dive into some of the topics like compliance and even personal development once you get into PSR 2.
Right. Audrey, for somebody who doesn't know, what's a great kind of beginning definition for a patient services representative?
When you think about a patient services representative, you think about that person who touches many aspects of business operations as far as that practice is concerned, because that person may be responsible for the intake portion of the process at a particular facility. They may be a part of the customer service aspect of the facility. And very importantly, they are working with their peers within the organization to make sure we have a smooth workflow as far as having the patient being registered within our practice, actually making an appointment, going through being evaluated and assessed, and even on the back end if they have questions about referrals or even collections. One thing that's very important about that patient services representative, and especially in the environment for which we're working in now, when there are all types of different types of workflows with the various types of insurances, the various types of models that we're working within, you do need to have someone within your practice that is knowledgeable about many different aspects of the healthcare arena, because there's a person that needs to be a patient advocate or a resource from our side. And that's what that patient services representative can function in that role.
See, you want to just say PSR. It's so much shorter. It's nice, right? Oh my goodness. Well, when I look specifically at the curriculum, and just glancing over it, I mean, even the titles, between 1 and 2, the basics of healthcare, medical office receptionist skills and front desk success and patient experience. And then you jump into 2 and you're looking at coding and medical terminology and compliance, like Jan said. What a well-rounded curriculum overall to get somebody up to speed. Jan, we were talking earlier about kind of a leveling experience. You were speaking to a foundation, but it feels like almost either one of these are that type of experience depending on who's coming in.
Yeah, so I think with the PSR program, as a person who's done a lot of hiring in medical offices and so forth, what excites me about this program is if someone has been through this program, they have the basics they need. So on day 1, they're prepared. And as I mentioned before, on day 1, instead of having to train a person on basic medical terminology or training them on the importance of patient experience and so forth. They have all of that knowledge. Now on day 1, they can start learning your EHR. They can start learning your policies, and the training goes much faster. So in the last 5 years, we've all been plagued with this lack of people to hire. And a lot of it, even if we put experienced, we find, okay, they may be experienced, but they still don't have those basic skill sets that are so important to be successful in a practice. So that's what excites me about the PSR. As I mentioned, you can step in, and then with the knowledge of PSR, step up.
It's interesting the way that you just phrased that. I had all these mental pictures running around my head. Somebody coming in day 1, but being somewhat familiar with the pictures in my head won't make sense. But we were talking about Discount Tire and comparing and contrasting, customer service that we've experienced at Discount Tire in the past. And so impressed with their overall training, apparently hiring and training. They hire and train because, man, it's a unique experience. It doesn't matter where you go, anywhere in the country. It's great service. But if you were to hire somebody day 1 and throw them in the back and say something about a tire, and they're like, "What's a tire?" I'm trying to relate that. Audrey, help me. I'm trying to relate that to the office. Somebody comes in day 1, you're able to talk about X, Y, and Z, and they at least know what it is. They may not know how it's done in this practice, but they know what it is.
That's absolutely correct, David, and very fundamental with the way our business operations work.
Fundamental.
So you do want to make sure, and this PSR program actually is an excellent way to make sure that individuals that are being working and employed within your operations have a little understanding about each and every component. One of the things that's very important for a manager when they hire someone is that they do understand the basics of healthcare operations, and they're not actually segmented to only one aspect. Another important thing for a hiring managing perspective is cross training. So if I have someone who understands the basics because they have gone through a program, the PSR program, and they do understand front desk operations, they do understand billing and coding, they may actually enter my practice at one level, and I can advance them to a different position from even what they've been hired for, but I don't have to start at the very beginning with having someone that has zero knowledge, zero experience, because they do understand the basics of healthcare operations, which is critical in order to be successful, because unfortunately, we do not have time to train from the beginning. We do have the time and availability for correction and improvement or specifics. And the beauty of, as well as someone completing this program, it doesn't matter what size practice you go to. It doesn't matter what specialty you go to, because whether we're talking about billing and coding as far as a CPT code or an ICD-10 code, it doesn't matter whether you're cardiology, primary care, it is still the same concept. And so we're giving you the fundamental basic concepts that are needed.
That's interesting because, if there's one kind of universal thing right now that I hear from people, it's staffing, and not staffing from the standpoint of hiring and training like we're talking about. It's just staffing. People need staff. People can't find, to say that they're operating on a shoestring. That's not the word I'm looking for, but they don't have an abundance of people sitting around looking for something to do.
Correct.
I think the other thing too we need to consider when we consider the PSR program is the confidence that it gives the student and eventually the employee. Because then they're walking in with the knowledge they need to become successful. Day one, they can walk in and they know that they're on the road to success.
That's a
Absolutely.
really good point. That's a really good point. God, there was something I had a second ago and it's gone. And it was great. It was really good. Oh, Audrey, is there anything from your years of experience and more specifically your years in front of an audience? What do you tell somebody who's thinking about taking this leap or making this entrance into this market space? And then I'll ask what I was going to a second ago that was so wonderful.
I think this is a wonderful, wonderful program, especially from the perspective of an individual that may have never experienced healthcare before, and having the opportunity to be exposed to all aspects as it relates to healthcare. It gives you a wonderful entrance so you can make the determination, do I actually want to come into this field or not?
Right.
Because if you're exposed and you think that you may actually want to enter the field, and you've never had any idea or any exposure, and then you come and we educate you about what to expect, you may decide, I love it. I want to spend the rest of my life in this particular career track. Or you may even decide, you know what? This is not exactly what I was thinking that
This
it
is
was
not
going
for
to
me.
be. Exactly.
So it's the person who wants to be a healthcare provider that realizes they don't like the sight of blood.
That's right.
Hey, whoop, this isn't for me. I know what I was going to talk about a second ago. And I literally have racked my brain trying to think about this. I personally believe healthcare is one of the most difficult industries. That sounds rather simplistic. The healthcare industry, third-party reimbursement, the billing and coding. I mean, almost every aspect of it is like no other business out there.
Mhm.
Is that fair to say?
Yes.
I think it's very fair to say.
Yeah. Have you
A
come
lot of
across anything else?
silos.
What?
We have a lot of silos in the healthcare industry. So just because you've entered one aspect, unless you have a program like this one that introduces you to others, you have not a clue what the other part means.
I don't know if you guys find this personally, but just out in the real world and you meet someone and oh my gosh, they're in healthcare. You could literally spend 20 minutes talking and walk away and go, I got no idea what they do.
Correct.
Very unique, specialized industry that is only getting more so. I was going to ask you flippantly, but it's like, hey, do you see the healthcare industry taking a downturn as far as needing people? Like,
No way.
I think I think that's a pretty safe bet. Well, Audrey and Jan, I tell you what, um, we have been working on this program, the website and everything for months now, trying to kind of put it together to try to convey what we're talking about today. And I think we probably did a better job than anything that we wrote and put on the website. But I will list the website. I always love those YouTubers. I'll put it down here. I don't know exactly how that happens, but somebody will put it down here for you to click on and to learn more. And Jan and I, a couple of episodes ago, started to try to encourage people. If you've got questions, That's what that comment box is for. Ask us questions. We'll certainly get back to you. And let us know what you'd like to see more about or learn more about from us. That's what we're here for. Audrey, I can't thank you enough for playing along with us today and being a part of this. It was really, really nice to be able to connect with you and visit for a little bit.
Thank you. I've enjoyed being here, and it's great to see you guys again.
Yeah, it's great to
Absolutely.
see you, Audrey. Thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
David.